Hey everybody, this is Josh
And Carolyn.
with Homesteading Family, and welcome to the Pantry.
Well, yeah, here we are in the pantry, and welcome to our series on, I don't know, pantry chats, pantry talks.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're
So this is the first time we filmed together in this spot, and we're actually trying out what is hopefully going to be a new series.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot for once a week, and this is going to be a conversation piece. Directly addressing a lot of the questions that you guys have been asking us.
Yeah, you guys constantly have questions for us and are asking us things that just really don't fit well in a how-to video.
Yes.
And they're really more discussion items, right?
There are. Some things are challenging. Some things you can just do a how-to video on, and some things just need a discussion. They kind of need a round table almost.
Right.
And a lot of you filled out the survey that we put out about 2 weeks ago. And that was awesome. You guys gave us so much feedback to help us understand what it is you want to learn about. And a lot of things, we kind of were keyed into and knew, obviously. But we learned some things as well, and we realized we need a new format to talk about a lot of this. We can get out into the garden and talk about different plants and soil. Carolyn can talk about preserving and canning in the kitchen. But you guys have asked a lot about things like time management.
Right.
What's some other?
Yeah, time management is so hard because, how do you get it all done? How do you fit it all into an already busy life?
Right.
That's a really big topic. So, yeah, that's a really big one. And how do you learn all the skills that you need in order to be able to do all these things? Because let's face it, just the learning process itself is the part that takes the most time. So there we are back at time. But how do you gain those skills and that knowledge?
Right. Another big one that you guys had is how to get started where you're at with what you're doing. And a lot of you are not out on a big piece of property. You're maybe in an urban site or a smaller site, and
that's great. You can start there, and in fact, that's the ideal place to start, I think. But
we did,
so that's great,
right? We started. We started an apartment, and then a quarter acre, and we moved our way through. And so we've got a lot to say to that, even though we're not there now. And so this is a great place to sit here and have a chat, and just talk through some of these ideas with you guys. And the goal is hopefully one day we're going to start these hopefully once a week, just a chat right here in the pantry. We might get to some different places. Eventually, maybe we'll go live. If it's going well, if you guys are interested in liking it, and we'll try to do it live where we can actually take live questions. That would probably be down the road. We're just going to start this and
honestly, we have to see if our internet will carry that because we kind of live in the middle of nowhere, right?
Right. We're on satellite, satellite internet, and we'll have to experiment with that in the future. But this is going to get us going and get a regular chat going with you guys. And you'll even be able to send in emails during the week and, hey, can you talk about this or that, or maybe even the nuances of a certain subject. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we definitely want to hear from you guys. We want your feedback. We want to know what you want to talk about. We have a lot of feedback from that survey, so we're going to start there. But as we go along, give us your feedback. And in fact, right now, let us know where you're from, where you are watching from, what part of the country, what country. We've got a lot of people in Australia.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Canada.
Canada, yeah. We've got quite a few people in Europe watching, in the UK, in different areas. So that's really neat.
So give us a shout out. Let us know what you're at, where you're at. Yeah. And if there's something you're interested in, feel free to post it there.
Yeah.
And we'll start taking that into consideration in future topics. But let's just check out the survey for just a minute.
Right.
Because this was a great survey. We got thousands of people gave us feedback. Really, really cool. We just really want to thank you guys. You're so awesome in engaging and speaking up. When we give you an opportunity to.
Absolutely.
And the main question we did was, what is your biggest challenge in the homesteading lifestyle, or just in trying to get there, wherever you're at? What's your biggest challenge? And Carolyn, what you give us a couple of those.
Well, we already talked about time.
That was number one as far as biggest challenge is timing. How to find the time to do it all, and it's tough. We've got a little kitten in the background here playing with the lighting wires.
Yeah, so if the lights get kind of wonky, hopefully they don't fall on us.
And that's definitely a subject that, man, you can't really just do a how-to on time. There's so many nuances, but this is a great format to chat about that.
Yeah, and give us some of our key topics, and we're actually going to be really diving into that next week. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that
Yeah.
again.
Getting started is another big one that you guys asked about.
Yeah, getting
You know?
started on skills and on a new piece of property, I think. Both of
Right.
those.
Yeah, just all the way around. What to do where you're at. We started in an apartment. We had to move our way
Yep.
along, and you guys are in all kinds of different places trying to build skills, trying to build knowledge, which is another one. Gaining knowledge, right?
Yep.
That was a high marker.
Very
and the
high,
challenge
yep.
is just building that knowledge base to work with.
Yeah, definitely. Money's
Yeah,
always one up
yeah.
there. How to do it, because you can go deep on any one subject. You can get into cheese making, and you could spend a fortune on the supplies for cheese making alone. But if you're looking at doing a more, lots of different aspects of producing your own food, producing your own, medicine, whatever it is that you're looking at doing, living more naturally, you need to be able to make those dollars stretch to all those areas, and to make it kind of pay for itself in some ways, at least in replacing your grocery costs, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's a big topic.
Time and money are two of our, just as humans, as people, largest limiting factors.
Right.
And a lot of us are trying to gain a greater degree of health, right? At lower expense.
Right.
That's why we put a lot of effort into the things that we do.
Yes.
And that is an ongoing struggle for all of us.
Absolutely.
But we've certainly learned quite a bit along the way, and have got some things to share about that.
Yeah.
So those are just a few of the challenges that you guys
Yeah.
have put out there. You've given us a few, and over the coming weeks we'll talk about different aspects of that. We also put out a multiple choice.
Right. What people were interested
in what specific topics we wanted to gauge the level of interest in specific topics that we speak to about purchasing and managing land, gardening, growing your own food, animals, raising animals, preserving,
natural healing,
cooking. I mean, these are
Right.
a lot of the core, facets, core ideas or activities that we're dealing with within the homesteading lifestyle.
And you know what you guys were the most interested in? All of it. they all rated really
Nothing
high.
bombed, right?
Nothing
Right.
bombed.
Nothing
Everybody
bombed.
wanted
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah, but what was number one? Can you guess? Just shout it
Yeah,
out
put
right
it-
now
put it
if
in
you
the
can.
comments
If you can put it in
below
the
for a
comments what
second.
you guess was number one interest level. What had the highest rating? It was a 1 to 10 scale, if you remember, for those of you
Right.
that took it. And what was number one? So put a guess in there, number one, and if you've got a number two, throw that out there too.
Okay, so what was the bottom one then? Because they were all highly rated. Everybody was interested in all of them, but what was the
And this
lowest?
surprised me. The
Okay.
lowest, and it wasn't particularly low, because as you said, they were all ranking high, but animals. Just learning
animals.
about animals on the farm. That was
Yeah.
the lowest. Now, again, when we say low, they were all like ranked 7 and up.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like, nah, we're not interested. That just was the lowest. But that definitely surprised me. I thought
Yeah,
that
those
would
are.
be...
I mean, you need land to do that. You need
Yeah.
space. You need a lot of time. You need the infrastructure. So that's definitely kind of like advanced topics.
It
right?
is. It really is.
So-
And there's a lot you can do without enough land to maintain animals. There's still so much you can do both in the home and with the piece of ground that you have.
Right.
And so that starts to lead us back up the list a little bit. You want to work your way up from
Sure.
we'll
Can
do the
you do
top
them all?
three.
Okay.
Let's do the top three.
The bottom three or the top three?
No, the top three,
Top
but
three,
we'll work
okay.
from the third, second,
Okay.
and first. How's
All right.
that?
Sounds
okay.
good.
So third most or most high interest was natural medicine.
Natural medicine.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. That was number 3.
Can I put a shameless plug in for our class that's about to come out here?
Let's have it. What's
Because
going
we're
on?
getting ready to
Uh-huh.
release a free training and a class on herbal medicine. And
Wow.
I'm really excited about that because that's one of my top favorite subjects. So I really get excited about that. So I'm excited to be releasing a class on it coming up soon.
That's hopefully February sometime, right?
Hopefully
Is the idea? Yeah.
Hopefully
It's-
February.
Hopefully, the hopefully
Yeah.
is in there because
Yeah.
it's a busy life, but
Right.
that's really exciting.
Okay, so that's
And
number 3.
Number 2 was gardening.
Gardening,
Now,
yes.
all kinds of questions on gardening, but as an overall topic, gardening was number 2. And I expected that would be up there pretty high.
Right.
And that is great. As a lot of you know, we're in a new place. We're going to be developing a first-year garden. And so we're going to do a lot of video. We're going to do a lot of talking.
You are going to see a lot of the journey because taking a piece of ground that now we do have a space that has been a garden, but it has not been gardened organically. It's not been gardened anything like
It's
with
been
our
under
methods.
plastic. Most of it's been under plastic
under
for
plastic.
years. they use Miracle Grow, they use herbicides, things that we're not going to use.
We inherited a whole refrigerator space filled with chemicals that we are ushering right on out of the homestead, and going to have to turn this over into a garden that is producing nutrient-dense and organic vegetables.
But that's okay, because we have the ability to do that, and we're going to take you along with that journey through building soil and different skills. We're going to turn this into an abundant, organic garden.
Absolutely.
And
we've done it before, so we know we can do it again.
Exactly. And this is big. This is the largest garden we've had.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of perennials in it, which need a lot of help. They were not maintained well, so they're weedy, they're depressed.
Right.
But we've got grapes,
currants,
gooseberries, raspberries, strawberries,
asparagus.
And so even
asparagus
those
looks pretty sad.
Yeah, it's all a bit sad. The folks that were here were older, it got a little run down, but it's here. I mean, we're thrilled. We're stoked, because there is a lot here to work with. But we've got to bring it all up. So we're going to bring you along as best we can, as much as we can, as we develop this garden and develop some of the perennial systems and try to get them back to health, and even then start to spread them.
We will also be breaking some new garden ground for my kitchen garden, which is going to have my medicinal herbs, culinary herbs, and some like quick grab vegetables, some greens, maybe cherry tomatoes, a few things like that I just want to grab out the front door. And I love having the little snacking items that the toddlers and the kids can just walk around and snack on whenever they want a snack. I can say, oh, go have some vegetables in the garden. I love that. So
and this is going to be converting sod, grass,
sod into that. So
to
you guys will see that
a
process
permanent
too.
Perennial garden with annuals sprinkled in.
Right.
So we're going to do some fun things there, and different ways to work with that sod, how to get certain plants growing quickly, really quick.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some fun topics within that. So we got a lot to do this year with gardening. So we're super glad that you guys are really interested in it. And all right, so
number one topic
that you guys are interested in.
Preserving.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely preserving.
All kind. I mean, preserving's a wide subject.
Yeah.
So this is preserving. It's going to cover a lot of different areas.
It's going to cover a lot of different areas, which is great, because that has been something that I have really focused on here at our homestead and the different homesteads for the last decade or so. And so I'm really excited to get to share a lot of those things with you, from old-fashioned techniques to modern approved techniques to all sorts of great things in there. And can I put in shameless plug number 2?
I think you should.
I should.
Yeah.
Hey, we are going to be releasing a preserving class, a master class, coming out this summer sometime.
This will probably be the production, the event of the year for us.
Probably.
Is this the beginning of a kind of master preserving class?
So we don't quite know how we're going to approach it just yet. I know the big focus to start this year off is going to be pressure canning, because I know a lot of people are scared of their pressure canner, but to be able to grab a finished dinner off your pantry shelf, dump it in a pot and heat it up, and have a healthy homemade meal in minutes is just such an amazing blessing. And it helps with time, it helps with money, it helps with all these different things that are struggles on the homestead. So I'm really excited about sharing
and that's just one element. And this is another opportunity to give us a little more detailed interest level right now. If you want to drop in, what areas of preserving are you most interested in? We know people are interested in canning, pressure canning specifically, but gosh, we've got dehydrating, we've got fermenting.
This cat's gonna take the trip.
He's doing okay. So anyways, Carolyn's dealing with a little kitten there. So drop in, what area of preserving are you most interested in, because that helps us out too. That helps us know what to focus, both with the free informational videos that Carolyn's doing on this subject, and what ultimately goes into a class that really helps you guys excel. And I wanted to bring out a point about gardening and preserving and the homesteading journey. A lot of people want to go out, get on the land, raise a lot of food in the vegetable garden, and raise animals and get it into the kitchen. And we've been through this journey. What happens when you're really successful in an abundance, have an abundant harvest, and you haven't developed the skills yet to put it all up, and you can't use it all? And I was reading some comments this morning about gardening, and how do I deal with the abundance? It seems backwards, but you actually need to have some skills in preserving, in long-term storage, you've got to build those side by side, but you really need your preserving skills to be ahead of your gardening skills. If you're moving in a direction of really wanting to grow and preserve and cook a lot of food for yourself, you got to be ahead of that curve a little bit.
Right. The preserving skills really need to come first if you're looking to fill your pantry, right?
Right.
If you're just looking to grow some salads or something fresh, then you can jump right into gardening. But you have to be, if you get good at gardening, you can get bumper crops really fast.
Yeah, and it's exciting, but then all of a sudden you're going, what do I do with all of this?
With all the zucchini.
And it never feels good to have to waste any of that. And of course, we give it away. Maybe you can sell a little bit. But so that just a little tip there, and how important that preserving is in the overall view of growing your own food. You want to be developing gardening alongside it, but definitely there's a lot to do with preservation. And I see we're getting in on time, and we've got another subject to get to past this. So that's the survey. Thanks for your feedback. This is kind of the introduction to a weekly series where we're going to start talking about a lot of these things that don't really fit in the video format. We'll do the gardening, the preserving, all the videos we can, but we're going to sit down with you here regularly and just start chatting about the nuances of these different subjects.
Right.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited. I think it'll be great. So another thing that we're going to cover today is talking about our journey this last year, because we get a lot of questions on videos of, wait, why aren't you back in the old kitchen? Or what kitchen are you in now? And some of the challenges there is that at different points I have batch filmed videos and then released them when I'm actually living in a different house than the kitchen was filmed in. So that's given a little confusion to that subject.
Well, and there's even an interim kitchen.
There's an interim kitchen
in there. So
there's so many kitchens.
There's been a lot of movement for a homesteading family.
Right.
There's been a lot of transition, and a lot of you guys know the story, and we're going to go super deep into the story itself. But we just wanted to let you know what's going on.
Right.
And part of our journey, as it has been a journey in 2018.
Right. Yeah. It absolutely has been, and I think to go back just a little bit, first when we knew we wanted to leave the area that we were in because we wanted a place to grow food more easily.
This is 6-7 years ago.
This is a while ago.
Yeah.
We set our eyes on a part of the country that we had never lived in before.
Yeah.
And we did not buy land sight unseen, but we bought land in a place we had never lived. And we moved out there.
Didn't really know anybody right in the area. We knew somebody
we didn't really know
a couple
anybody
hours
right there.
away.
Yeah, that's right. And so we moved out there, and great gardening place. There were a lot of really nice things about the area, but it didn't
great
end
people
up
too.
Great people really were, and it just didn't end up meshing with our personality very well. It didn't fit for us. It was not a fit for us.
Right, and I think that's the reason for bringing it out was we know a lot of you are looking to get to the land, to get somewhere, to expand whatever you're doing a little bit, and thinking about moving. A lot of times that means thinking about a regional move.
Right.
And that it can be a challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think for us, I'll save you a lot of money right now on a move that might not work for you. Make sure you like an area and you have experience living there before you take a plunge and really move there full time, buy land and all of that. So when we left that experience, we were determined to rent where we tried moving next to make sure that we really identified with the area.
And this is counsel we had been given.
Yes, we kind of
both by other people on the internet and people around us to rent, to somehow get to know an area. I mean, if you've got the flexibility and you can go visit it a lot, that can be one way.
That can be.
But for a lot of us, it's renting in an area and getting to understand the people, the area, the microclimates.
Right.
And so after having that experience of having bought land in a place we ultimately didn't want to be, that didn't work for us, we decided to rent.
Right. And so the kitchen that you guys might have gotten to know us in was our rented homestead, where we were trying out the area, making sure that we really liked the area before we decided to move there.
Yeah,
so
and we were there.
You guys have seen a lot of videos from that kitchen.
We were there for over 4 years. It was a fantastic piece of property.
Amazing piece.
And it gave us the opportunity to meet people in the area, because we didn't know anybody. We knew somebody, again, a couple hours south.
Right.
God had kind of brought us to this particular place, and it was what we needed, and so we went for it. Turned out to be an area we loved.
Right.
But we got to know, before we bought, the different microclimates, the different areas, different pockets of people, And that's where we were at until early 2018.
Right.
And that was a great way to. We're so thankful. Why there were times we wished we just had our own place and we could do have a little more permanence, especially working on the land. It was a great experience, and it really shaped us getting the right place when we were ready to make that move.
Right,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then at that point, we found out that a family member was sick, and we moved to Southern California to help take care of that family member.
Right.
So, so that is why we moved again this summer.
Well,
summer.
we knew in early 2018 that we were getting ready to start looking at buying something.
Right.
And we knew we were getting ready for a transition, and so it was a hard experience, but it actually all worked together okay in making that transition the way it went.
Yeah.
Going down there, taking care of Mom.
Right.
And experiencing that journey, and that was a journey. We won't go into all of that, but we got through that and went, wow, hey, you know what? It's time to buy.
It's time to buy something.
We know the area. We know the different areas that we're interested in. Our number 1 pick, our number 2 pick in the county, and we were able to shop with confidence.
Right.
In knowing what we wanted and where we wanted to be, where we didn't want to be. Areas we
Right.
just go, nope, don't even want to look there.
Don't even want to look.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we were able to purchase the homestead that we are now on, which
Yep.
is an amazing place. It's definitely going to need a little bit of touching up for ourselves
Yeah.
to be kind of reflect us.
Yeah.
But it is a great spot. It's 40 acres, and there is a lot that we can do right here.
Well, there is, and a lot of you have been asking us for a tour of some
Right.
some kind, and we've got a lot of snow on the ground. We've got a lot of things to develop, and so as we get into it, I'm sure we'll do a full tour at some point, but we'll probably start getting glimpses as we can get out onto the land as we're doing things in the house. I mean, we've got no end of projects, right? It's what to do first, and making time
Right.
and prioritizing the projects.
Yeah.
But I think, especially for what we're doing here and interacting with you guys, it's pretty exciting because we're going to try to bring you along the journey of actually developing this place out and the different
Right.
systems, the gardens, the animal systems. We want to get our dairy cow back in here in the spring. There's a lot of work to do to get that going.
Right.
We have almost no fencing.
No fencing,
So-
and the pastures are pretty dilapidated. They're going to need a lot of
of
help.
And we still have some of our cattle, our beef cattle. They're on another farm, and hopefully we're going to be able to keep them leased somewhere. So there's just a lot going on, and inside the house as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're so thankful that you guys have been along this journey with us. And we'll keep taking you along, showing you what we're doing. But real quick, I just want to summarize like the top 3 lessons that we learned from all of that moving across the country.
As far
So
as moving
hopefully-
to a new location.
Right.
Yeah.
So that hopefully you guys don't have to do some of what we've done.
Yeah.
And I think number 1 would be to make sure that you're confident that you like the area, not just because, hey, I can grow a great garden or, it's got a nice climate or something like that, but that it meshes well with you on your personality
Yeah,
side.
you need to have spent some time there somehow.
Right.
Either visiting it, vacationing regularly. I know of a couple of families that have done that. They've gone out and just visited over the course of a couple of years an area they thought they liked. And
Right.
I know one family that they spent like 2 years exploring an area in Missouri, and
Yeah.
they ended up deciding not to go there. I know another family that's exploring Idaho, and looks like they probably are going to come here, and they've been exploring it for a year at least. And that's a great way to go.
Absolutely. And I think along with that is don't think that somebody else's ideal will fit you
Right.
necessarily, because we definitely have friends who have moved up here and said, wow, this is not for us.
Yeah.
So it might be that your ideal is somewhere else, and
Yeah.
that's just fine. It just needs to work for you and your family.
So know your area.
Know your area. Number 2,
Have your income worked out beforehand. Now,
it is so hard to move to a new place and then have to start struggling with how you're going to make money.
and we have done that.
Yeah.
We have been down that road, and it is a challenge. So, either you've got to go with the job, or if you're thinking you're going to transition your income source, you're going to go to a home-based income. Start that beforehand.
Yeah.
Get that rolling. There's always a lot to learn with starting a new business, a new enterprise. If you're a business owner and you're in the trades, or you're going to be doing a business locally, not a job, get there and start networking. Go and visit and start networking, meeting different people, find out what the needs are, in the environment and in the general area, and
Right.
if you can service those needs. So work out that income.
Yeah, definitely. And number 3,
is kind of having an anchor, and that can be different things. A job could be your anchor, a family member, friends,
close friends,
church, right? A church. Have an anchor. Try not to go somewhere, and this one we didn't do. We tried. We were originally going to go near friends, but we also had needs as far as the housing for our family and the property,
right.
And so we ended up with a piece of property a little ways away. Thankfully, we rented it, and it worked out good.
Yeah.
The other time we did that, it didn't work out, and we had bought. So have an anchor. Have somebody you know that knows the place, or a job. If you're looking at a job, then there's people there that know the area. That helps anchor you. So
something that gets you an in on the social side,
Yeah.
and just so you don't end up feeling really isolated during a move when you get to a new place and you don't know anybody, you don't know who to ask for anything. Just something that gives you an in.
Yeah, and that takes some time to develop.
Yeah.
And so take your time, do your research, and go explore and have fun.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, do what you can right where you're at. And we're going to talk about this because a lot of you have said, hey, I'm in an urban spot. I got a small place. I want to get started. I can't really homestead. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
there
you
is
can.
so much that you can do right where you're at. So just want to encourage you to really be doing what you can. We're going to talk a lot about that. And
we're talking a lot from our personal experience, so now you know some of our top mistakes we've made in moving, and we're going to share those with you so that you guys can hopefully avoid some of the pitfalls of just trying to live a more self-sufficient, so resilient, whatever you want to term your homesteading experience as, that kind of lifestyle, and it's hard to break into sometimes. So,
it is. There's always a cost to it, but if we can help shave the cost in certain areas,
so
that's always great.
Next time we are going to really be doing that deeper dive into the idea of time management, and we are going to be giving you guys some of our top tips and strategies that we use around here to get it all done, right?
Yeah.
So that should be a lot of fun.
That's a big topic. And again, if you have a few specifics, drop them in right here. Okay, drop them in, and so that we know some of your more specific questions, and we will try to include those. So thanks for hanging out with us with this first pantry chat. We don't know quite what we're going to call it. We'll call it the pantry chat for right now. And we just look forward to seeing you right here next week.
Hey, and shameless plug number 3. Sometimes the social media platforms don't always, even if you have your notifications set to all the time, they do not always notify you when something new comes out. So if you want to get notification of when we will be here and any other videos or anything else that comes out, you're going to want to jump over and get on our newsletter or email list so that we can send you an email. So we'll put that link in the description so that you can hop right over, get on that list so you can know when any new videos are coming out.
That's it. All right, you guys, we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.